This week I learned perhaps I don't dislike crime fiction. Maybe, just maybe, I dislike shitty crime fiction. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update, the first for the month of December, guys. Can you believe we're almost done with 2025? What a year, right? What a year. In many regards, better than last year. In many regards, well, maybe not so much. But we'll get into that. We'll get into some of the end of the year wrap. But we're going to talk about the week that was, the week that will be, and all that came in between here. We'll begin like usual, guys, talking about what am I reading. I realized just now that my Kindle is downstairs, so I can't hold up and show you that I finished The Last Coyote by Michael Connelly. Now, this is a Harry Bosch novel. It's also a ℏ𝕦𝕤𝕤𝕤 read selected by Brian. And Brian, you have done it again, my friend. This was a very, very good book. And this has got me thinking, maybe instead of reading really mediocre crime fiction, maybe I should have just been reading Michael Connelly because this guy's good. Very good. Now, look, I knew I was probably going to like it more than I usually would because I have some affection for the Bosch character, watching about 4 seasons of the Amazon Prime television series, and I love Titus Welliver. So I thought for sure I'd probably like it a little more than I probably usually would have. This was awesome. I would have probably liked this if I'd never even known anything about the character. The way that he writes this character is just so good, getting inside of his head and knowing this guy knows, man, I'm really messed up, but I'm just going to wear that all on my sleeve. And I love this. This character is just zero F's, obviously, but in the end, he's a cop. He wants to do the right thing, and he's really at a kind of a crossroads in his life right now. He's suspended from his job, for striking an superior officer. A superior officer. We were watching Star Wars earlier, he's lost his house. He's lost his significant other. His life is just kind of a mess right now, and he decides to try to solve this crime. About how his mother died. And it's really, really good. The thing was, they kind of played with this. The TV series, they did it way different. Very, very different. So I think I was expecting one thing. In the book, it's way different. It's way different, the resolution to this case. And I think the end just completely was unguessable. I never would have figured out this case. My guesses were all wrong about who the culprit was. And to me, that's the very definition of a great crime mystery novel, is it surprises you at the end. I made the comparison really to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo because that was the only one that I had read. And the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was like that ending completely blew me away. I never saw it coming, And I think with this, I kind of had that same feeling of maybe this is a genre for me. Maybe this is something that I like. So it's not going to be a Ronald Malfi thing where Michael Connelly takes over my TBR, but I will definitely be visiting the Bosch character again. I look forward to speaking with the gentleman of the ℏ𝕦𝕤𝕤. I think it's going to be on Brian's channel, I believe December the 16th, and I believe that will be live. So you guys want to join us, you can. But read this, guys, if you haven't. You've been like me, you've been kind of apprehensive about starting some crime novels or detective stories, things like that, but you like really, really great character work. I think Michael Connelly seems to be pretty damn good. I think there's a reason he's considered the best in the business. And I can't say enough about it. I'm very, very excited. I don't know if I would go back to the beginning, book number 1, because this is book number 4 in the series. I don't know if I'd go back to the beginning and just start there or what. I don't know if there's like a timeline people think you should order, just read them all, how it should really go. But I know that they do seem like they can be kind of, continuous if you read every single one of them, but most of them seem to be standalone-ish in nature. And that sounds very exciting. So definitely we'll be visiting this character and this author again. And yes, you guys are right. Michael Connelly, very, very good. He just absolutely as advertised. I'm pretty close to the end of 12 months here at Dresden Files. I'll tell you about this because it's not out yet. It took some turns I wasn't expecting. And I think that every Dresden book kind of surprises you. A lot of times in a Dresden story, it'll be like, yes, this is what I've been asking for 3 books, and you're fist pumping, you're feeling good. At this point, I didn't really go into it hoping for anything. It was really, I wanted to see my character get right again, because you knew he was going to be at the absolute bottom of the barrel in this book, and he is. And there are some things that he's doing this right. There are some things, like usual, where you just want to grab him and strangle him and be like, what are you doing? I mean, that's what Harry does. We love him, we hate to love him, we love to hate him. It's just, he's a very, very interesting character that doesn't always make the right choice, but he always has the best of intentions. And I think that still is very much prevalent, even with this version of Harry Blackstone Dresden at this point. But again, I'll talk to you guys more about it once it's done. I'll be finishing that this week. and then it becomes another long wait for the next book. I think it's Mirror Mirror. Is it finally going to be Mirror Mirror? Is going to be the next one. I think that Jim's actually updating these on his website now, and I saw that he was like 20% complete with Mirror Mirror. I don't know. That might have just been somebody goofing around. I did see a screenshot of that. I don't know if it was real or not. Somebody put that on my Discord. I don't know. But very good. I know there were some people who thought that that Peace Talks was a little bit of fluff, you know. And I think when they had to split Peace Talks and Battleground into 2 books, it's going to kind of feel that way. So I think if you were looking for a get-right book for Dresden Files, even though I thought there was nothing wrong with Battleground, I think with a beginning and the end, I think this will give you exactly what you're kind of looking for. And again, it takes some twists that I wasn't really expecting. It's got me really curious here with the ending about where the series is going to go after this. And we'll begin kind of the beginnings of the ramp up towards the finale here. If this series wants to go 25 books, and the last 3 books are going to be a trilogy, I think he's got a lot of ground to cover, but he's got some wiggle room here. And he's in some threads, but he's creating some new ones. And anxious to see how it does end here. And I should be doing that up the rest of this week. Now, I did go ahead and start my next read, guys, because I knew it was going to be a big one. That's, of course, this big boy, Shadows Upon Time, the last book in the Sun Eater saga. I know that I'm not that far into it. The thing is, it doesn't look like I'm that far into it. It's a page 114 because the font is so tiny. Christopher, I want to tell you thank you so much for your acknowledgement in the beginning of this. Don't feel bad. Everyone spells my name wrong. Everyone. I was with a company for 12 years, and they spelled my name wrong at every single Christmas party I ever attended. So don't feel bad about that. It was what you said that really meant a lot, and I'm so glad that I could help you feel that that's part of where you're at in life now. It was my pleasure, my friend, and it's just being my pleasure to be with you on this whole journey and get to wrap this up now and talk to you about it afterwards. It started interesting. Hasn't got to that point yet that every Sun Eater book does, where Christopher makes me feel like maybe I'm not smart enough to be reading this. Hasn't got to that yet. I'm sure that'll probably come around the 250 page mark. That's usually when it hits, and he'll start talking about some stuff, and I'll be like, "Can you explain this to me like I'm 4?" And I'll be texting him and bothering him. But I texted him about the first 100 pages or whatever. And we were getting some good laughs. I won't tell you what we said in case you haven't read it yet or if you want to. But I know a lot of people have already finished it. I've seen some mixed to positive. I've seen some things mixed where, again, when you try to stick a landing, it's not going to work for everybody. Even if most people feel like you do, there's going to be some people that feel like, no, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. But with this series, I think we already know the ending. He tells us the ending in the very first chapter of the very first book. So we know the ending. Really, here it's a journey, right? It's about the journey, not the destination. But I think that we are all anxious to see that destination now and see how it does resolve and kind of see what comes forward at the ending here. What is this universe? What is in store for this future of this universe? Because he has said this is the end of Hadrian's story, but he doesn't want to write more in this universe. I'll be interested to see how open-ended he leaves things. But really, the only thing I've got so far to say that's non-spoilery is just who could have seen the Chantry being even bigger shitholes than we thought that they were? I mean, who could have possibly seen this coming? Always blame the enemy for what it is that you are doing, right? That is the way. But I'll be working on that this week. I'm pretty sure next week when I talk to you guys, I'll still be working on this. Sun Eater books usually take me 2-3 weeks really to get through. And with this one, I'm sure, Christopher, he makes me slow down and read. I can't fly through these books like a lot of people do. I know the audio books are supposed to be amazing, but you guys know I can't do that. But with this, I am going to take my time, chew my food, and enjoy this last ride with Hadrian and friends. And I won't say it's going to be a happy ending, but I'm hoping for a happier ending than I am expecting, especially for one of my favorite side characters in the series. If you know, you know, and you know the proper way to say her name. Yes, you do. This week on the channel, guys, I did a couple of things. I talked about my most anticipated books of 2026 because it's always more fun to talk about what we're going to read than what we're actually reading. And with anticipated books, it's like, I saw everybody was starting to get theirs out, so I want to go ahead and move it up and say, hey, why don't I just join the fray and we can just all assault you with our most anticipated books of the year. I listed 8, and then I kind of laughed because I made a joke over on Petrix. Petrix had 30 series, 30 most anticipated books of next year. And I was like, yeah, here's my 8 favorite books. And Petrix like, haha, you're adorable. That's kind of how it went. But with me, with these, I wanted to make sure that I was serious about reading all these. I don't want to just put a bunch of stuff on here I have no intentions of reading. That's not the way that I want to do this. Some things are going to fall off. That's just inevitable. Some things are going to come on we don't expect. But when I'm planning these things out and I'm giving these books their moment, I don't want to say I'm going to read it and know inside, I have no intention of actually reading that. No, these are 8 books I am very, very much interested in reading next year. And if all things go accordingly, I will be reading them next year. I thought it was a nice mix of some fantasy, some sci-fi, some horror. And, there's some books, there's one that's it just might not be coming out. I think it is. I don't know. But I felt confident enough about it to put it on there. Because, I stopped putting, Rage of Dragons 3. I stopped putting Winds of Winter. I've never really put the Patrick Rothfuss one on there. But you get the point. Books that I don't think are actually coming out this year, I don't put on here. I don't put on that list anymore. So hopefully, Pierce, you do get that book out. And I won't go back and be, oh, well, that book didn't come out. So I get to put it on next year's. Because no matter what year Red God comes out, it's going to be most anticipated book of the year. I also did my monthly wrap-up for the month of November. Always really fun to look back on what worked, what didn't, and naming that book of the month. It was a lot closer race than I expected, because I liked a lot about all 3 books. Yes, just 3. 2 of them were monstrous. I did really enjoy many things about all 3 books, but there's one thing that put the winner above the others, and hopefully you'll watch that and check that one out and see, that and my most popular videos for the month and things. It was a crazy month with all the traveling, for Jay Kristoff, for Christopher Rocchio. It was really, really crazy combined with the holidays. Just everything can get kind of hectic that time of year. So we did take a quick break on some things, and some of that did include some reading. So I look back on it and say, hey, 2.5 books, but when, those books are really, really monstrous, I don't really think it's anything to feel bad about. In the end, this is still a hobby. This is something I do for fun. I don't want to feel like I'm in a rush doing any of these things. But it's a little lesser reading than I usually would have done. And I think I can just say I was really stretched kind of thin in the month of November. This time of year, it does dictate. And, it's hard to kind of fight off depression this time of year because I don't know where you guys are. We do daylight savings here. And it's dark at 5 o'clock. It's been raining for 2 weeks. We haven't seen the sun. I've been listening to some really sad music lately. I don't know. Maybe that's causing it. But it is one of those things where it makes it hard to just feel like, what, I'm going to get lost in the fantasy world. But it's also the best time to get lost in the fantasy world. And that's why we'll kind of keep looking forward to that here for the rest of December. For next week plans, guys, got a couple of more things. We've done all of the 2026 preview stuff. Now it's time to start the wrapping up of 2025. I'll begin by talking about my biggest surprises, both in reading and in life and in the channel for 2025. This is usually just kind of a little peek behind the curtain, some things that I didn't expect, maybe some positive things that happened for the channel, some positive things that happen in real life, and obviously some surprises and some readings. Sometimes you get some books that you weren't expecting, and all of a sudden, boom, they're up for your book of the year. It's just always fun to look back on and say, hey, I remember before I read that, I didn't even consider that as anything. And now, wow, it's one of the best things I've read this year. So it's always fun to look back and see what really went right unexpectedly. Unexpectedly right is something I think we'd all put in the positive column. And that'll be some things that we do talk about this week because I think we could all use some positivity in our lives. And that's what I'll be talking about, as well as my book haul for the month of November. Guys, it is monstrous. I'm looking at it right now. I've gotten some wonderful things in the mail this month. As always, I want to take that video as an opportunity to thank both publishers, authors, viewers, anyone who sent me anything, and say thank you so much. You guys continue to rule. I could care less if I have enough room for them. The fact that you are taking your time, your money, your effort to send something to me, it means the world to me. I want to make sure that you guys do know that and give you a personal thank you, each and individually. Some TV and movie talk things here before I go, guys. Just have to say real quick, the news is still really fresh, so we're still it's a lot of speculation, a lot of jumping to conclusions on these things, but Netflix buying Warner Brothers is terrible news. I think this is absolutely awful news. I think this is worse than when Disney bought Fox. I think this is terrible. I have constantly said competition brings out the best in creators, and it just seems like now all they're doing is acquiring their competitors. And it's going to get to a point where Google, Apple, and Disney, basically they own everything. That's kind of how it feels right now. It's less is not more in this regard because you can make everything conform to exactly how you want to do things. And I have got the negative stance. I feel like everything is devolving into AI quality level writing slop right now. Everything feels the same. Nothing feels unique. No one seems to be happy about it, and they just keep giving you more content for content's sakes. And now that Netflix has their hands on some of these iconic properties, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, The Sopranos, DC Comics. I worry now that we're just going to get Robin, the high school years and shit like that. I don't want this. What Disney did to Star Wars and Marvel, I do not want that with some of these other IPs. And I'm just pretty sure that's what we're going to get. You don't buy these properties without wanting to use them, without wanting to exploit them, without wanting to get a return on your investment. 80-something billion dollars, I'm pretty sure they want a return on this investment. My biggest fear right now is that, regardless of how you felt about the new Superman movie, I felt like it gave some of us longtime DC Comics fans hope in that, okay, well, maybe this is actually going to be done respectfully this time. It wasn't a perfect movie, but it felt like a step in the right direction, a course correction, if it were. And now I just feel like they're already talking about, hey, well, maybe they're just going to restore the Snyderverse and bring back Zack Snyder and just continue that one and just kind of scrap this one. Or even worse, they're just going to make their own DC universe, which I have zero faith in. And it's a longtime DC Comics super fan. I just feel like there's just never any hope for us. No, I liked plenty of things. I love Man of Steel. There's some things I liked about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I thought it was a better movie. Wouldn't call it a great movie, but I thought it was a good movie when that cut did come out. I also thought it was a good ending. Let's just leave it there. We don't need any more. And I don't know. I know Zack Snyder has a really good relationship with Netflix, and even after Rebel Moon, I feel like they're still wanting to work with them. And so I could see it. I could absolutely see it. Depends if all those actors want to come back for those roles now. But that's just not what I'm hoping for. Again, a lot of this is conjecture. Don't know. We don't know exactly the details of everything's going to happen. I don't know if HBO is going away. I have no clue. I don't know if Netflix is going to go up to $50 a month to pay for this acquisition. Who knows what's going to happen? But it definitely does feel like we're trending back towards, hey, we're all going to buy our competitors. There's going to be like 3 streaming services that own everything, and we're going to make one big giant mega bundle, and it's called cable. That's what we're heading back towards again. So I don't know. I think this is really a dark day. It's very sad to think of a studio like Warner Brothers that's been around for a long time, much longer than any of us. And now they're under the Netflix umbrella. And I know that Netflix claims they just want the prestige. They want to go out this old style. They want to get back to movies feeling like events. And again, I just don't believe it. When this is the same company that says they're intentionally making stuff for people to scroll their devices while they're watching. To me, that doesn't sound like highbrow entertainment for someone who likes to put the phone away while they watch television, watch movies. So yeah, no, I am not optimistic about this acquisition. But when you've got FU money, you can do whatever you want. And that's what Netflix apparently does have. So hope for the best, expect the worst, as with all things. Go with an acquisition like this. We'll close this out by talking about the whole bloody affair, the Kill Bill, the new release. This is something that Tarantino's been talking about for a while. Was kind of like this big giant supercut of Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2, and maybe restore some deleted footage and things like that, and make one big, long, epic director's cut. And it's in the cinemas right now, and I'm hearing amazing things. I mean, obviously, look, this is one of the most underrated Tarantino movies. And you might feel like, what are you talking about? It's everybody loves Kill Bill. Maybe. I just, whenever I've heard everybody talk about their favorite Kill Bill movie, their favorite Tarantino movie, it doesn't seem like they ever bring up Kill Bill. Kill Bill Volume 1 I love much more than Volume 2. But I really hope that this gets a home release, physical, digital, no matter what. I would like to see it because it's already locally. It's already sold out. It's sold out. You cannot get tickets to go see it. But this is one of my favorite Tarantino flicks, and I would love to see what he's put together here. Hearing amazing things about it. I would love to see the House of a Thousand Leaves. House of a Thousand Leaves. What is it? The big fight at the end with the swords. You know the sword fights. You know the ones. Woohoo, woohoo, that part. I'm hoping that it doesn't go black and white. In the States, it was censored. It went black and white because they couldn't show that much blood. I actually got my hands on what you call a fan edit, where they take it from the Japanese release and give us those scenes in color. And that's kind of what I've been going off of for the last 20 years. But incredible movie. And I would love to see this cut and see this vision that Tarantino had and these new things he's put in it. Well, apparently he's put like some more anime into it. And I'm just like, really? Tarantino, I don't feel like he can do much wrong when it comes to filmmaking. I know he didn't like a Paul Dano performance, and everybody's like dragging him right now. I don't care about that. Paul Dano was good in Prisoners. That's about the only thing I've ever seen him in. So I don't know who Paul Dano was. I had to look it up. Anyway, Tarantino, his films, I will always watch them. They're always appointment viewing for me. And Kill Bill is one of the best, and I truly do hope that this does get a home video release, because I would love to see it. Hearing nothing but great things. If you guys have seen it, why don't you drop in the comments, let me know what you think. Was it worth the price of admission that I wish I had paid. So drop in the comments, guys, and let me know everything that you're up to this week. I'd love to know what you're watching, what you're reading, what you listen to, what you're playing, what you're planning to do here for the month of December. That's all in the deal here. Drop in the comments, guys, and let me know. I will talk to you then.